There is a mercy in cruelty and a cruelty in mercy. A true leader understands the difference. This is not a paradox. It is a fundamental law of power, one that is deliberately ignored by the sentimental and the weak. The desire to be seen as kind, to avoid confrontation, to spare feelings in the immediate moment, this is a profound and common form of vanity. It is a self-serving impulse that masquerades as compassion, and it is almost always more destructive than the single, difficult act it seeks to avoid. The world does not reward good intentions, it rewards effective action. And effective action in moments of crisis is often sharp, swift, and painful. This is what Machiavelli called the economy of violence, or what we will call the principle of necessary cruelty. It is not about malice, it is about mathematics. It is about choosing one decisive injury to prevent 1,000 future cuts. Consider the team leader who presides over a collapsing project. One member of the team is the source of the decay. They are incompetent or toxic or simply a bad fit. Their presence demoralizes the competent, slows progress, and poisons the environment. The leader knows this. Yet, they hesitate. They think of the difficult conversation, the person's financial situation, the unpleasantness of the act. So they offer more chances, more coaching, more patience. This is perceived as mercy, but what is the result? The entire team suffers. The best employees grow resentful and begin to look for exits. The project itself and the security of everyone who depends on it is placed in jeopardy. The leader's mercy toward one person becomes a prolonged, systemic cruelty to everyone else. This is the essence of what separates cruelties badly used from those well used. A badly used cruelty is one that is small, repeated, and indecisive. It is the slow bleed of morale. It is the constant low-grade anxiety of an unstable environment. A well-used cruelty is applied once, at a single stroke, to secure a future. It is the surgical removal of a cancer, which is violent and painful in the moment, but is done to save the life of the organism. The goal is not to injure. The goal is to restore health and order. Machiavelli observed this in the actions of states and their rulers. He wrote of Cesare Borgia, a man with a reputation for ruthlessness. He said, Cesare Borgia was considered cruel. Nonetheless, his cruelty reconciled the Romagna, unified it, and restored it to peace and loyalty. He contrasts this with the leaders of Florence who, in order to avoid the name of cruel, allowed disorder to fester until it destroyed a city. The Florentines were merciful in the small moments, and this mercy led to the ultimate cruelty of societal collapse. Borgia was cruel once, and that cruelty purchased peace for thousands. The takeaway is not to seek out opportunities for harshness. It is to recognize that your responsibility as a leader is to the stability and success of the whole, not to the comfort of one part at the expense of the rest. The necessary firing of a toxic employee is not an act of malice. It is an act of stewardship. It is a single controlled cruelty that prevents the uncontrolled, chaotic cruelty of team-wide failure. It is the economy of violence in practice. If you have the stomach for the realities of power, this channel is your field manual. Subscribe. This principle extends far beyond the corporate world. It governs the fate of ventures and the course of personal lives. Think of the startup founder who cannot commit to a single vision. Every week a new pivot, every month a new grand strategy. They are trying to be merciful to every idea, to every potential market, to every piece of conflicting advice. But this indecision bleeds the company dry of its two most vital resources, capital and morale. The team is thrown into a state of perpetual whiplash. No real progress can be made. A single, hard pivot, a cruel decision to abandon beloved but failing ideas, is the only thing that could save them. Instead, the founder's mercy ensures a slow, agonizing death for the entire enterprise. This is a failure to understand a core strategic concept. Negative actions or injuries must be delivered all at once. Positive actions or benefits should be distributed over time. Machiavelli was explicit on this point, for injuries ought to be done all at one time, so that being tasted less, they offend less. Benefits ought to be given little by little, so that the flavor of them may last longer. The founder who pivots weakly is doing the exact opposite. They are inflicting small, continuous injuries, ensuring the pain is constant and the offense is maximized. The clean break, the single hard decision, is tasted only once. It allows the pain to be processed and for healing and rebuilding to begin. The strategic application is clear. Indecision is not a neutral state. It is a form of passive, extended cruelty. In a failing venture, or even a failing relationship, the series of soft breakups, the endless one more chances, these do not soften the blow. They prolong the agony. A single, clean and final decision, however painful, is the more merciful act. It grants both parties the dignity of a conclusion and the freedom to build something new on solid ground. To hesitate in these moments is understandable. The desire to avoid inflicting pain is a human one, but the leader who is governed by this impulse is a liability. They mistake their own emotional comfort for a moral virtue. They are not sparing the other person, they are sparing themselves the burden of the decisive act. The true cruelty is allowing your own discomfort to condemn others to a state of prolonged failure, anxiety, or despair. This is the final, crucial distinction of well-used cruelty. It is done for security and it is not persisted in. Once the toxic employee is gone, the leader's job is to rebuild morale. Once the hard pivot is made, the founder's job is to rally the team around the new vision. The cruelty is a tool, not a disposition. It is a scalpel used for a necessary incision and then put away. As Machiavelli clarified, cruelties are well used when they are applied at one stroke and are necessary to one's security, and that are not persisted in afterwards. The goal is always a return to stability and productivity. It is never about the cruelty itself. The measure of a leader is not found in the easy moments. It is found in their capacity to bear the weight of a difficult, necessary decision. It is in their ability to see beyond the immediate pain to the long-term stability they are creating. This is not about being liked. It is about being effective. It is about understanding that sometimes the most merciful path is the one that appears at first to be the most cruel. What necessary cruelty have you been avoiding? The one that could save your team, your project, your future. Contemplate that. And if you wish to continue forging the tools of effective leadership, subscribe to this channel and study the materials waiting for you on the end screen.